You're listening to The Dangerous Mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov. No excuses, no BS, no pants.
All right, rolling a vintage tube into the ART Tube Pac preamp. This is an RCA 12AZ7 from the mid-70s, I believe. So a 50-year-old NOS RCA tube. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Microphone Playboy podcast. How you doing? So I continue to be surprised and delighted by how the ART Tube Pac preamp sounds. Now, I did dig up a NOS tube in one of my drawers. I was not expecting to find this. I forgot I even had it. But it's an RCA 12AZ7, not an AX7. And so I replaced the the tube that had been in the ART Tube Pac probably since I bought it. So probably the stock 12AX7, which was starting to sound a little bit weird. Like, I was listening to it again last night, and you could hear like the beginnings of tube failure, like it would crackle in weird places. I'm thinking, okay, well, let's roll a new tube in there and see if that persists. And I found this thing, put it in there, and it was a struggle getting the old tube out. So that really bolsters my opinion that that was the stock tube in it from when I bought it in the early 2000s, early mid 2000s. So this is the 12AZ7. And I'm fairly certain, though, that it still needs to be warmed up a little bit. I've had it warming up for like an hour, but I think it needs to be broken in. Because I'm fairly certain that there should be a little bit more warmth in the bottom end. This sounds like a brand new tube that still has to gain its maturity through burn-in. But what I'm hearing otherwise, the detail, the clarity I'm hearing otherwise, is really impressive. And there's no EQ on this. Now, again, we are using the Serena microphone, the OPA Alice Serena microphone, which is the most transparent microphone that I currently own here. This one by Jules Reichenbusch, the Serena, with the OPA Alice circuit, which has which has the best signal-to-noise ratio of any mic circuit out there, which has basically 40 dB less harmonic distortion than the best FET mics out there. You may have heard this before on the channel a couple of days ago, but overall it's a very pristine and transparent signal coming out of this mic. So I felt this was a great way to demo what this Tube Pac really sounds like. Now, let me drop in a little clip from the previous Microphone Playboy podcast episode that has me recording the Tube Pac with the original stock tube. All right, hold on. So I bought this thing, and I don't know how much it was, maybe $150 back then. No big deal. But listen to it. I really haven't used this thing in maybe like 15 years or more was the last time I maybe plugged it in. Yeah, that definitely has a little bit of a different sound. But I'm gonna keep monitoring this situation as what I'm hoping this 12AZ7 breaks in. Now the 12AZ7, it's not really a common tube. You really hear, the 12AX7 is what you hear about in everything, right? That's really kind of a pretty standard tube to be used in mics and mic preamps. But you do hear about the variants, the 12AT7, the 12AY7, and they're very similar. They're very similar tubes in that they are all dual triode tubes that are, pretty much general purpose. A lot of them were created for use in television sets and radios back in the, back in the era of television sets and radios needing tubes. So we're talking about, these are designs going back into the 40s, 50s, 60s, and still being manufactured into the 70s. And so the 12AZ7 differs from the 12AX7 because the 12AX7 has more gain built into it, has a higher gain factor or amplification factor. So if you rate the 12AX7 at 100, then something like the 12AT7, which is definitely a tube that a lot of people like to substitute for the 12AX7 because they think it sounds warmer and smoother. The 12AT7 has a gain factor of about 60. And then the 12AZ7 is somewhere in between them, but I think closer to the 12AT7 than the 12AX7. And so part of that is that the 12AX7 tends to break up faster, tends to go into harmonic distortion easier than some of these lesser gain tubes, which is why they get used as substitutes. So the 12AZ7, I'm hoping really warms up a little bit. I think it's going to be a nice, smooth, detailed sound. And again, I am fairly shocked. Not fairly, I'm very shocked at how good this sounds. The ART Tube Pac preamp. I mean, really, again, I found this thing in the garage, and it's been sitting in the garage for at least 15, 16 years or more. And it just blows my mind. I was going to plug it in I was going to make fun of how bad it sounded. That was my whole intention of like, oh yeah, I'm going to pull this out, plug it in, and shocked. Utterly shocked. I was going to donate this thing to the Salvation Army or something, put it in the box with the other donations, but now I'm keeping it because I'm starting to think that this is not bad at all. And I gotta know what you're thinking because it's blowing my mind. It is blowing my mind. So the 12AZ7. I will keep you posted if this thing starts to sound warmer, better, different. I'm thinking it may. But we shall see. But again, the ART Tube Pac preamp. And I don't know if this is actually a better demo for the Serena mic or the TubePac, because the Serena mic is really just pure transparency. So really you're hearing the tone that you're hearing is pretty much all preamp. Pretty much all this tube. So yeah. Go RCA 12AZ7. All right. What do you think? I gotta know, because this is just crazy. I mean, I've been so dismissive of little preamps like this because, I figured they just sound like crap. But this actually works. And again, it may be because I'm using a very clean, pristine microphone and allowing whatever's going on in the preamp to not be clouded by by an inappropriate match with a microphone that has a tone that doesn't work with it. I don't know. All right. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.